Folks, we are now getting reports of complete and utter panic from within the Trump campaign, particularly coming from Donald Trump himself. I want to dive right into these latest stories. First, my name is Brett Meiselas here with the MeidasTouch Network. Remember to hit subscribe and help us get to 3.5 million subscribers. Let's dive right into this new story from the New York Times. Headline: A frustrated Trump lashes out behind closed doors over money. Donald Trump is feeling aggrieved, underappreciated by donors, and fenced in by security concerns in the final stretch of the race. Donald Trump took his seat at the dining table in his triplex penthouse apartment atop Trump Tower on the last Sunday in September, alongside some of the most sought after and wealthiest figures in the Republican Party. There was Paul Singer, the billionaire hedge fund manager who finances Republican campaigns and pro-Israel causes, and Warren Stevens, the billionaire investment banker. Joining them were Betsy DeVos, the billionaire former education secretary under Trump, and her husband Dick, as well as the billionaire Joe Ricketts and his son Todd. Some politicians might have taken the moment to be charming and ingratiating with the donors, not Mr. Trump. Over steak and baked potatoes, the former president tore through a bitter list of grievances. He made it clear that people, including donors, needed to do more, appreciate him more, and help him more. He disparaged Vice President Kamala Harris as, and excuse my language, this is what Donald Trump said, as retarded. He complained about the number of Jews still backing Miss Harris, saying they needed their heads examined for not supporting him despite everything he had done for the state of Israel. At one point, Mr. Trump seemed to suggest that these donors had plenty to be grateful to him for. He boasted about how great he had been for their taxes, something that some privately noted was not true for everyone in the room. The rant, described by 7 people with knowledge of the meal who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the private conversations, underscored a reality 3 weeks before Election Day: Mr. Trump's often cantankerous mood in the final stretch. And one of the reasons for his frustration is money. He's trailing his Democratic rival in the race for cash, and he had to hustle to keep raising it. Not only does Miss Harris have far more money to buy ads and pay for staff after raising $1 billion in less than 3 months as a candidate, a sum greater than the total Mr. Trump raised all year, but she has also been freed from having to plead directly to donors anymore. She raised more than twice as much as Mr. Trump in July, August, and September. At almost the exact same time Mr. Trump was sitting down to dinner at Trump Tower, Miss Harris was taking the stage at a JW Marriott ballroom 3,000 miles away in Los Angeles at an event that raised $28 million. Donald Trump, meanwhile, is scamming and grifting like there is no tomorrow. Donald Trump has announced his new cryptocurrency scheme, which he continues to promote on social media, writing on Twitter yesterday, "World Liberty Fi token sale goes live on Tuesday morning, October 15th. This is your chance to help shape the future of finance. Be there Monday, October 14th at 8 a.m. Eastern for an exclusive spaces to learn more. Join the whitelist today and be ready for Tuesday." An odd thing to be focused on this close until Election Day. Another odd thing to be doing: holding rallies in Coachella, California, a state where Donald Trump is getting absolutely crushed. And Trump, I think, was hoping that he would get this massive crowd in Coachella, California, but it was actually quite sparse, and you could see some of the pictures here that the crowd was really not all that big, despite Donald Trump trying to pretend that he had 100,000 people here. Let's go through a few of the moments of Donald Trump in California. We remember in Detroit the other day, he insulted Detroit. Well, this time in California, he decided to insult California. First, Donald Trump threatened to withhold aid to California if there were ever forest fires. Watch the clip.
We're going to take care of our farmers. We're going to take care of your water situation. And we'll force it down his throat. And we'll say, Gavin, if you don't do it, we're not giving you any of that fire money that we send you all the time for all the forest fires that you have. It's not.
Donald Trump admitting he would be politically motivated with disaster relief aid, as he has actually been in the past when he is president, and at the same time trying to project onto Kamala Harris that she is doing the same thing, despite the fact that Vice President Harris and President Biden are helping all the disaster areas, whether they are Republican areas or Democratic areas. Donald Trump in Coachella said regarding North Carolina that Vice President Harris has not even gone there, essentially. Watch this.
He's a great guy and he's done a great job, and it's too bad that Kamala didn't do. I don't even know. She's essentially not even gone there, essentially. But what happened in...
But literally at the exact same time, Vice President Harris was actually helping to give out much needed supplies in the state of North Carolina, as you could see from the photos right here. He just lies and lies and lies over and over and over. Donald Trump, again in California, I want to remind you, told the people in California that they experience brownouts and blackouts every weekend, every day. As someone who lives in California, this is obviously a complete and total lie. And I hope, but I don't have high hopes, I'm going to say, that when he's saying this to people in California, that they realize how much of a liar he is. Watch this.
Isn't it crazy? You guys, you have brownouts, blackouts. California has brownouts and blackouts every weekend, every day.
Trump then said that he would rescue California, that California and every town across America has been invaded and conquered. This is just very disgusting language. Watch this.
We're going to liberate our country from criminals. How stupid are we? How stupid are these leaders? They're stupid people. I will rescue California and every town across America that's been invaded and conquered.
Fall is here, the temperatures are dropping, and it's time to start baking delicious homemade favorites. Wild Grain, it's here to help you warm up your house with sourdough breads, fresh pastas, and artisanal pastries, including a wide array of seasonal offerings. Rumor has it they'll have a small number of apple cider donuts, so get them before they sell out. They make it so easy by doing all the hard work for you. And if you're not familiar with Wild Grain, it's the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads and pastries and pastas. Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable to your tastes and dietary restrictions. In addition to their classic variety box, they recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-based box that is 100% vegan. Best of all, they take the hassle out of baking, since all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less with no mess or cleanup. It's why I love this service. You know how busy I am here on the MeidasTouch network. So I love making a pasta that's delicious, it's quick, and I impress my wife with my cooking skills. So are you ready to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wild Grain so you can begin building your own box of artisanal breads, pastas, and pastries. For a limited time, Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off the first box plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/Meidas. wildgrain.com/Meidas to start your subscription. You heard me. Free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/Meidas. That's wildgrain.com/Meidas, or you can use promo code Meidas at checkout.
This all stems from his fear. He gets more and more extreme the more nervous he gets. Here, Donald Trump's brain was just breaking while he was speaking, and he said that he would deflate inflation. This is a weird moment. Watch this.
I will very quickly deflate. We are going to take inflation, and we are going to deflate it. We are going to deflate inflation. We are going to defeat inflation. We're going to not.
Trump's new thing is he says he will invoke the Aliens Enemies Act, a 1700s wartime law, which is a wartime power, basically saying that he wants to be able to deport all legal migrants and sentence them to death. Watch this.
I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And we will call it Operation Aurora. That's what we're going to, in honor of the people that have suffered in Aurora at the hands of this horrible gang, Operation Aurora. And if they come back into our country after, we're going to throw them out so far you wouldn't believe it. But if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. 10 years. And if that doesn't work, it'll be 20 years. And if that doesn't work, I guess it's going to be the death penalty, right? The death penalty.
And earlier in the day, Donald Trump was in Las Vegas saying that Democrats want no more cows and no more windows in buildings. This whole campaign is completely off the rails and just all about lies. Watch.
They want to do things like no more cows and no windows in buildings. They have some wonderful plans for this country.
And yesterday, J.D. Vance was also holding a disastrous event. J.D. Vance tried to pretend that there was a peaceful transfer of power. He said there may have been a riot at the Capitol on January 6th, but it was peaceful. It was a peaceful transfer of power. Watch this.
Look, this is very simple. Yes, there was a riot at the Capitol on January the 6th, but there was still a peaceful transfer of power in this country, and that is always going to happen. Donald Trump's committed to it, and so am I.
Now let me expand upon what Vice President Harris was doing while Trump was in Coachella for some reason. Vice President Harris was meeting with local Black elected, faith, and community leaders at a restaurant in Raleigh, North Carolina, in addition to working with volunteers who are preparing relief supplies for hurricane victims. Additionally, the Winston-Salem Chronicle in North Carolina has endorsed Kamala Harris, saying, quote, the choice is clear. Kamala Harris represents a departure from the divisiveness and turmoil of the past. A vote for Harris is a vote for a nation governed by stability, decency, and a rule of law. Vice President Harris yesterday released her medical records, which showed that she was in excellent medical condition, and she called on Donald Trump to do the same. Trump continues to hide his actual medical records. Here's what Vice President Harris had to say.
So today I released my medical records, as has, I believe, every candidate for President of the United States except Donald Trump in this election cycle. And it's just a further example of his lack of transparency, that on top of his unwillingness to debate again, his unwillingness to do an interview with 60 Minutes, which again is part of the norm of what anyone running for President of the United States does. And I think that it's obvious that his team, at least, does not want the American people to see everything about who he is. And you put that on top of even the most recent reports of General Milley, one of the people who worked the closest with Donald Trump, referring to him as being unstable. And it is clear to me that he and his team do not want the American people to really see what it is that he is doing and whether or not he actually is fit to do the job of being President of the United States. So.
And by the way, Donald Trump has still not provided an actual medical report from the doctors after the first incident in Butler, Pennsylvania. What is Donald Trump trying to hide? That is the question. Vice President Harris also spoke about Donald Trump's declining mental acuity. Take a look at this.
What do you think about President Trump's mental acuity and whether it's declined since, say, his 2016 campaign?
I invite the public to watch his rallies and be the decision maker on his acuity. And you will see in his rallies how he goes off on tangents, how he is not focused on the needs of the American people with solutions to the issues that concern them the most.
Vice President Harris is continuing to speak with voters today. She is attending a church service in Greenville, North Carolina, and will provide remarks at a community search as faith leaders from across the country are launching a Souls to the Polls effort to turn out Black churchgoers ahead of Election Day. Later today, she is holding a campaign rally in Greenville with North Carolina voters ahead of early vote beginning in the state on Thursday. The campaign says she will meet with Black farmers to discuss her economic policy plan ahead of the rally. So you see here a tale of two campaigns, two very different strategies. Vice President Harris actually meeting with voters, meeting with community leaders, helping people in the towns affected by the disasters. And on the other hand, you have Donald Trump going to California, lying directly to the people's faces about things that are happening in California and threatening the people of California the same way he has threatened the entire United States of America. Thank you so much for watching this update. I really appreciate it. Remember to hit subscribe and help us get to 3.5 million subscribers. We are getting closer and closer and closer every day thanks to your support. Go check out the MeidasTouch podcast anywhere you get audio podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.